Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am doing some more virtual DCS, which is pretty cool. Looks like you start out and you're in this hangar with a giant plane. Wish I had enough room to actually walk all the way over there and look at the front of it and look at the back of it and whatnot, but it looks pretty damn cool. It's definitely impressive. So, here's what I got going on here. These are my settings at the moment. I don't know if it's affecting me by running my desktop still at 3840 by 1080, but I'm doing it. Is what it is. And then MSAA off, I got SSAA on 1.5, motion blur off, lens effects none. All the rest of this is at high. And then if I go to my VR settings, I have 1.5 for my pixel density. Now, I was just playing around with the Vigan, which was a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the Harrier and a free flight over Vegas. It's one of my favorite planes. It's always fun. Always a good time. Like I said, I'm not super impressed with the visual quality, but move my head around a cockpit and the terrain is really impressive. I love my Track IR, and I still think the Track IR is the more affordable option if you don't have a machine that can handle this, but this is really cool. Alright, we are in the Harrier. I mean, just look at this cockpit, man. Holy cow, is it amazing or what? This is actually really, really cool. And like I said, after doing what I did, I'm sitting at around 40 FPS right now, I believe. Trying to remember. Getting this thing trimmed is fun. Trying to remember what that command is. Hold on, let me see if I can do it. Is it Shift F9? Or Control? Huh.
Pull up.
It doesn't seem to let me do it.
Pull up.
Let me try this again. Oh, it's Control Pause, I think. There we go. So there's my FPS. I'm sitting at around 40, and it seems like almost a locked 40. I think I've seen it jump down to 39 every now and again. So not sure how I achieved that. I would really like to hit 50, 60. 60 would be really nice. I mean, like I said, the level of detail isn't quite what it was before, for sure. On my 3840 by 1080 monitor at 144 hertz, because I was getting anywhere from like 70 to 100 plus frames per second, depending on what I was doing and where I was doing it, and much sharper. But this is pretty damn cool.
Pull up. Roll out. Pull up.
I mean, 40 doesn't feel bad, and I'm really surprised by that. Because I swear to God, 40 to 50 before felt like hell in a handbasket on with all those details cranked and with all the image stuff turned up. So maybe it's just a matter of balance, I guess, because things aren't as pretty, and 40 is smoother, since it's not as pretty.
Roll out.
But not bad.
Roll out.
Definitely not bad. Not terrible by any means.
Out.
Now, what's that command again? Control, Shift, and one of these numpads to, there we go, set me back in the cockpit a little bit to look around. My little hand controllers, I just set them on my lap to do this. But there is a, nope, wrong thing. There is a slight zoom feature on the hand controller, which is rather neat. So, definitely reasonable sensation of flight, which is cool, which is what I was worried about more than anything. And again, just the ability to naturally move my head around and be ultra smooth in terms of moving my head around to look at things. That makes looking down and seeing a ground target so much more precise, I guess, and better overall.
Pull up, pull up.
Although what's hard to get used to is it seems like there's a sweet spot for your eyes sometimes. You have to be, I don't know, you have to do a lot of refocusing or something. I can't really describe it. Seems like when you hit a certain angle maybe, sometimes it gets weird. And then it takes a second and your eyes refocus. But the shadows are really impressive. That's one thing I thought was quite cool. Notice how the cockpit's changing with the shadows. Now some stuff just looks dull, like the water compared to what it did. But the textures are rather cool. Again, everything isn't as quite pronounced and sharp as it was before, but the cockpit is especially 3D, much more than it ever looked before. So it's like they really took their time to give you all that detail for the cockpit, which is rather nice. So I'm trying to find the dam. I thought it was right around here somewhere.
Pull up, pull up. Roll out, roll out. Roll out, roll out. Pull up, pull up.
Yeah, I lost it. I've only done this a million times.
Pull up, pull up.
Or is it back down one of these little riverways or whatever? Look at that, it jumped to 72 for a second, which was weird. I still think Vegas is one of the prettiest sceneries that they have, or Nevada, whatever you want to call it, is definitely one of the better sceneries that they have in DCS world. Certainly one of my favorites. Oh no, I have labels on. Now look at that, 80 frames per second from the external view. There was a video somebody posted, it says how to get 90. I'm going to be looking into that. Because 80 is the hertz refresh rate of these lenses. See, now I jump back in here and I'm almost at 80. What is going on? What changed, right?
Pull up, pull up.
So that's kind of a weird result. Now it's jumping back to 40. So at what point does it decide to go back to 40? It's just bouncing between 40 and 80 now. Really weird. But I definitely feel like my situational awareness is heightened. Definitely able to look around better and see things. And again, I was doing those vegan missions with the rockets, and I was much easier able to look down and see the targets and get a visual idea of where I got to drop my stuff, you know? Very cool. Let's see what else we can look at. I like these little pointy controllers. Let's try this one. Although I haven't forever, so I do not remember how to flick my weapon systems up. Ooh, I do remember though that doing the thing.
Generator.
There we go, that worked. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Oh, I got labels on. Somebody's gonna cry. Now, how do I switch targets again? I forget. There we go. Should be able to go to this guy now. And so I'm definitely able to track a target a little bit better. Pow. Very cool. Oh, there's still a guy down there. Ooh, there's another one way out there. Those guys are still alive? How is that even possible?
Pull up.
Boom, Splash Bandit.
Pull up.
It is too bad that the Harrier doesn't have more of a air-to-air roll, or more than just sidewinders to chuck at targets, because I think it would be a cool plane to do that with. So what I was getting at is, with these controllers in the cockpit, it looks like I've lost my mouse unless I'm doing something wrong, but I do get these little fingers to point around, and to jump into the Tomcat with this, it has a problem with flicking up that little housing over the master arm, which is a bummer. Let's go there. 9600K, running at stock speeds, which is what, 4.4 or 4.39 gigahertz. I have 32 gigabytes of memory, PC 3000 memory. I have, see, I can click this, but once I have that up, I am not able to flick the switch up, and I don't know why. And I'm also not able to, oh wait, I can flick that back down.
125, 70 miles, Angels 33.
So why can't I flick that up? The master arm switch itself. Yeah. So that's kind of a pain in the ass. But it looks beautiful. I mean, the Tomcat's just fucking amazing. Look at this cockpit, man. Holy shit. What's not to like? Really impressed with the gauges and all that. And I can actually see my speed now. It's really hard on the flat 2D panel to really see that. And look how cool, you can actually see these little wires and stuff in here. A lot more detail pops out in 3D. So this thing's a bummer. I don't understand this, you know. I guess I have to bind that somewhere to do the master arm thing to be able to use this, which is a pain in the ass. I'm used to just using my mouse.
A friendly bra 145 56
So like I was saying,
miles,
i5 9600K at stock speeds, 32 gigabytes PC 3000 memory, EVGA 2080 Super Black Gaming Edition GPU with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Look how fucking awesome this thing looks from the outside. For being more low res, ironically enough, it looks more realistic. It's hard to explain. Just amazing. And then I'm using a HOTAS, and I still have this monster 49-inch monitor, which I'm not really using that much now that I'm using this, but is what it is. So like I said, I'm not completely sold that VR is like the new way to go, but I'm starting to really have some fun with it. I picked up this Rift S because I had a 10% off coupon for Best Buy, because my birthday is tomorrow and I'll be old, and I had a Best Buy card, and it's pretty much where I'm at. End of story. Now I have a Rift S. And I do like a lot of the other games too, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, Beat Saber's kind of cool. The Darth Vader game is fucking awesome. Very cool shit. There's definitely more to it. Look, I'm dropping down now. The Tomcat's a bitch though. Even on the flat 2D panel, the Tomcat takes way more horsepower to render than any other plane, because look at this cockpit. I think this cockpit is the most detailed cockpit in all the stuff in DCS. Kick up the burner.
Friendly C-17 12 o'clock high 10 miles.
Looks pretty nice at night though. It's starting to be nighttime here.
Hey, the sink rate's too high.
But even this like 35 to 39 FPS doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would be. So I don't know. I think the whole thing's growing on me. It's just taking time. I mean, the situational awareness factor is definitely better. Let's see what else we got. What else you want to see? How about the F-18 Persian Gulf free flight? This will take a minute to load. $182 out the door is what it was. The 10% off pretty much took care of the tax for me, and a little bit more with 6% sales tax, so I got 4% off. Still better than full price. So I will say this, the Rift S is also a little bit buggy because I had to sign up for their beta software because I bought it 2 nights ago, Sunday night, and so when I did, I'm gonna hunt around here for these keyboard keys. Hold on. So when I did, I only used it that night a little bit. And I come home from work last night after work, and I went to go play it, and I kept getting this error, right controller, battery's dead, critical error. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even play it, but like, 3 hours after I got home that night, Sunday night after I got it, and then left it sit. And I looked online and I changed the batteries, it didn't change it. And then I saw on the Oculus Reddit that the guy's like, hey, sign up for our public test software, blah, blah, blah. And I did, and I guess that fixed it. Oh, I'm going to wreck this. Or not. Nice. I have to admit, this center stick is definitely helping me be a better pilot. I'm able to make smaller, more precise movements than I wasn't able to before. And then look, I'm over Dubai and I'm jumping down to between 37 and 39, which is kind of expected. Dubai's kind of a bitch to process. And the F-18 cockpit, I would say, is probably the second most intense cockpit in this game to render. Man, that looks really good. I never saw that building that close. So there are certain things that in VR I'm seeing that I wasn't seeing on the 2D panel at a higher resolution. But I've seen others say that they can get more performance out of it, so I'm going to look into that as well because I would like more FPS too. Who wouldn't? But overall, man, it is very cool. I mean, I see what people are talking about now. It's definitely different. It's definitely, I think, a step above doing the track IR and the bigger, wide panel. I don't feel bad about the panel, though, because I'm going to use that for gaming in general. Boom. Made it. Look at that. Twice in a row. Very hard to do for me, usually. But I'm just able to see so much more ground detail at a smoother pace by turning my head around that wasn't as jerky, I guess, with track IR. And you don't notice track IR being bad because if you haven't seen VR, you don't know there's better. Does that make sense? So anyway, those were my settings at the beginning here of what I'm doing and what I'm achieving. And to be honest, like I said, this 37 to 40, it doesn't feel that bad. I'm not really getting major stuttering or anything, which is really nice. And I was really afraid of that. Don't get me wrong, I've had it a few times here and there, but it's not that bad. And again, I think I'm going to be able to tweak more. I'm just afraid I don't want to lose more of the visual detail because I had so much more on my flat 2D panel visually than I have now. But at the same time, there's just something about being able to look around so smooth and so naturally that I'm not able to achieve on that 2D panel. So I'm torn. I'm definitely going to still use my monster panel for games. I mean, the new Doom's coming out. I play Battlefront 2 a lot. There's a lot of reasons to have that awesome panel still. And let's face it, there's just not enough VR games out there that are really AAA titles either. So it's not like I'm going to be playing tons of awesome VR games on this, because there really isn't that many. Beat Saber's rather cool, though. Man, I am able to fly so much better now. Pretty cool. So, that's the Hornet. Let's see. Look at that. Man, that looks so cool. Yes, I know, the labels are on. Somebody's going to lose their mind. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. If you have any more comments or suggestions, please leave them. I'm definitely going to be making a lot more videos of DCS in VR and other games in VR. But so far, I like it. I think the upsides are definitely more than the downsides so far. I'm still not convinced that my 2D monitor doesn't look better, but the fluidity and the ability to look around the cockpit like I am, I think has made my situational awareness much better. So there is that. So anyways, please subscribe to the channel, and until next time.